Hello everyone and welcome to game 2 in a series between Socke and Strelok. So far, game 1 was really entertaining and hopefully game 2 does not disappoint. Socke spawning as the teal Protoss player on the top right hand side of the map. Meanwhile, all the way on the other side of the map of Entombed Valley, FXO's Strelok spawning as the red Terran. So Terran versus Protoss once more. And I'm really starting to like how Entombed Valley is getting pulled into tournament play. This is one of those maps where there's only 4 spawning locations off into the corners. And I do like this map much more than some of the other 4-player maps in corners that we've seen in the past. Kulos Ravine being one of those maps that really never took off. A lot of players didn't really like it, and it was rather difficult to try to defend, especially without a proper ramp inside a base. We'll see what's going to go down here. Strelok is opening up with a supply depot on the front door. Should follow it up with a barracks. Meanwhile, Socke now moving out to do some scouting with his 11th probe, and now perhaps going to get what is this, continuing to just queue up and build up more units. And there you see a probe was doubly queued. He had to cancel it in order to get the additional resources, and now this probe is just going to constantly try and harass and most likely do a very good job, as the SCV is required to just babysit the building in order for it to be completed. Now, Strelok playing a little bit more defensively, opting to go for a supply depot first, after or well before the barracks was completed. And now the probe, all it can really do is try to destroy the supply depot. You can see that the supply depot has taken a fair amount of damage already, and it is already down to 36 hit points, 31. SCV now coming over and will be able to repair it. The probe's not going to be able to do very much of anything, as this SCV now needs to wander away. Oh! Is it going to be enough? The SCV was not able to, I guess, a supply depot walk through this one location here, and apparently Strelok, not knowing that this is a cross spawn only, and this is going to actually perhaps mess up his scouting. He's going to come across over here and now scout this side, just because based upon the timing of this probe, he naturally thinks that this is a close spawn, but it is in fact not a close spawn. And that may throw off his strategy a little bit, and really the tournament players and the tournament directors should let them know that this is cross spawns only. Strelok now coming around. SCV has gone up the ramp and now will take a look and realizes that it is cross spawn only. We'll see how this will all go down, as the SCV now forced to just finally walk over here and not really get that much scouting information at all. It may even get taken down by a zealot, as now we see a nexus warping in from Socke. Socke finally setting up his own expansion, as the stalker is moving out. And here we go, SCV trying to make it up the ramp. Is the SCV gonna? Yes, SCV will be able to scout out the natural expansion, see the nexus and the additional pylon. And now we have 4 Marines up on the high ground in order to deal with some stalkers and perhaps even a probe. More gateways now being added. A sentry is being added here. And I don't believe that Socke is really going to deal any serious damage or be a serious threat, as Strelok currently has 5 Marines on the high ground. The probe quickly gets destroyed. Socke realizing that he needs to back off, and does do so in time. Only 10 points of damage dealt to 1 Marine, as opposed to the loss of a probe and almost all of the shields being depleted on a stalker. But hey, what is a stalker? Stalker shields just meant to be replenished here as the game does continue. Now, Strelok so far running on 2 bases. He is going to get up his second barracks, or his second and third barracks now. We'll see what that tech lab, what the research will be first. Stim is the obvious choice, since it does take a very long time to research. But then trying to train up Marauder is also a very smart choice in dealing with early stalkers. Marauders in a bunker does have superior range, a range of 7, as the Marines need to jump inside. And oh no, the stalker I believe Did it see? No, it did not see up onto the high ground, as now more and more supply depots are being added. One Marine now on the ramp. The Marine looking at the Stalker looking at the Marine, although Stalker unable to see the Marine. Very good positioning, and we'll see how this is going to work as the Marines are now just chasing after those units and chasing after those Stalker of Socke. Nicely done there, as Strelok waited until he was within firing range on all of his Marines before the Stalker decided to move away. Level 1 weapons upgrade is being researched as well, so Strelok opting to go for an early level 1 weapons upgrade, and we'll see if he tries to hit some sort of timing. Combat shield is being added, and even so, I believe stim pack, it could be followed with concussive shells. We are getting double research now on 2 tech labs. Marauders being trained along with double Marines, and now still waiting to get up on a stronger economy. 39 probes versus 35 SCVs. At this point in the game, Socke needs to figure out how he's going to be doing a little bit of harassment, and they're both planning on what strategy they want to do in order to perhaps try to slow down their opponent. They want to make sure that any sort of harassment that they do, they're not going to try to win the entire game with a full all-out frontal attack. They're trying to get a small advantage, and by getting that small advantage and capitalizing it so that it is a much larger advantage is a very, very common strategy. You can see that there is one observer currently just flying around. The missile turret does spot it, but the one observer never moved into a position where it was actually going to be taking some serious damage. Marines now trying to chase after the Stalker. The Marines, however, perhaps should have walked closer to the Stalkers before actually engaging. Could have gotten a free Stalker and saved a lot of damage and dealt a little bit of an economic blow. Or sorry, an army blow, as a Marine now tries to charge up that ramp. It is going to get destroyed, and here we go. There's the Guardian Shield. Force fields. A couple Marines are going to be caught on the wrong side. The sentry should be able to finish off in just a moment here, as we have an observer here by Socke. Socke with an observer now taking a look, sees that Strelok is running off of 3 or 2 bases, still hasn't established up a third yet. He does have a command center now being placed down, and now going into that all-important bio-medevac play that most Terran players know and love. Harvester count still very, very even, or sorry, food count still very, very even. Harvester count not far behind either, as Strelok also getting in armor upgrades, and perhaps needs to get a second engineering bay and an armory in order to really pull ahead of his opponent. Socke now starting his 1-1 upgrades, and Socke looking to be in a very, very nice position if he can get enough Colossi to really punish the Marines and the Marauders while still keeping that Viking count low. Marines and Marauders, you can see them just all grouped together now down here on the low ground. One medevac looks like it will be going for a drop. A nexus also being established by Socke. Meanwhile, the command center has not yet been completed, and it will be completed in just a moment. Out comes a large group of one Colossus, a whole bunch of Zealots, some sentries, and sentries and one Stalker in this group. You can also see that the Twilight Council hasn't finished researching. No, it has not finished researching all of those. The charge upgrade, as the Zealot now simply walks over here and doesn't see anything all too interesting either. The Marines and the Marauders were able to stop and get a cancellation on, or no, perhaps maybe get a stop and a cancellation on this one expo here. Strelok going to lose this expansion very, very quickly unless a lot of units make their way over, and the Marauders and the Marines are just doing a great job just softening up this one Nexus. The Nexus already taking a lot of damage, and now you see the medevac simply pulling away once more. The Stalker's unable to shoot it down. Alright, Socke does have his third base up and running now. Also, you can see a factory and a medevac just simply hiding off to the north. We'll see if anything useful will come from them. as a Marine just patrolling in between the bottom right locations, looking to see if an expansion will be set up. At this point, Strelok and Socke are both just trying to macro up, get a strong economy, perhaps utilizing upgrades to outdo their opponent. Level 2 weapons upgrade, level 1 ship upgrades, so Vikings will be able to even more quickly take down Colossi. With that superior range. 3 more barracks once again being added by Strelok. We'll see how he transitions into the mid-game. Strelok now with a very small lead, 169 versus 158. While the Harvester count shows 75 to 64, so Strelok has a significantly larger army. He has more supply used, even though he has less Harvesters, meaning the rest of that supply is in an army base as opposed to SCV base, and with a much more effective army he could perhaps just knock on the front door and try to destroy it. Level 2 weapons upgrade about to be completed, but we are already going into level 3 for Protoss, and the Protoss may hit a window where their level 3 upgrades are significantly outpacing the level 2 and level 1 upgrades of the Terran. Here we go. Here's the battle. Zealots and Stalkers now simply going to charge in off one more. The Colossi are in position. The one Colossus has to be very, very careful. Level 3 armor upgrades about to be completed, reducing the damage from, what, 28 down to 30, or 28 down to 18. So that is going to be a significant hit. Looks like the proxy pylon has gone down. Strelok now behind by 182. Socke up to 198. So Socke has once again taken the lead. What the heck did I miss? Oh, good gosh. I'm sorry. All right. Okay, so I am rewinding replays just to figure out what I missed. I didn't even see anything happen down over here, but it really felt like a lot of workers were killed. So that's why you can't really always tell what's going to happen in the game. And we'll see what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and fast forward things just a little bit more, as I am well aware that these triple barracks were produced. Taking a look, Medevac now looking to do a drop. There is a Marine still patrolling off here, and we still see a very large group of Colossus Stalkers and now making their way down the center portion of the map. Front door is trying to establish some more supply depots so that units cannot simply run in, as the pylon is now warping in here. SCV attempting to build gets taken out, and the Zealots are going to engage against the Marauders and the Marines. The front door pretty much wide open though. The Medevac not doing any sort of drop, as the Colossi are now able to charge in and get in a lot of damage here. Perhaps some force fields on the ramp would be effective. Psystorm could even come back over, and here we go. Are we going to get some Psystorm? Yes, there's that Psystorm, an imaginary or a painful wall, not imaginary wall, right there. Zealots are now simply charging in, and they have dealt a lot of damage to the mineral line here. All the SCVs are now down. Harvester count up to 24 as a Psystorm comes in, dealing a lot of damage across multiple units again. 44 Harvesters compared to 77. Socke now in a dominating position, as Strelok now needs to perhaps somehow try and retrain more and more units to get back up into a higher count. Medevac now looking to even up things in terms of the war. Is it going to be able to drop? I don't believe so, as there are Zealots and Colossi all standing nearby. The front door, Psystorm still raining on all of these units here. EMP Shockwave does go down in a couple locations, as now the Zealots do have to do a full retreat. We should be getting in some more Psystorm here. There's a Psystorm and perhaps another Side Storm. More Side Storm could still be coming in. And I believe if Socke is able to win this, it will just be because of Side Storm. Meanwhile, a drop inside the main base, 103 versus 115. And Strelok now takes the lead as the Photon Cannons have been completed. The Stalkers do have Blink and could be able to give chase to those units. Zealots are now getting all unloaded here. The Zealots are now in position. Probes are down over here as well. More Zealots going to be added. A feedback onto the medevac, and the medevac now essentially out of hit points, or at least no real way to do any serious healing on that bio army. Marines and the Marauders still battling up against a couple of Zealots. The Zealots have all been destroyed. As Strelok once again showing why he is in this tournament, playing very well. Constant harassing so far, but right now Socke is still sitting on a 20 food lead as he establishes his 4th base at a rather dangerous center location. Stalkers, Zealots now coming in from the north. There's some Side Storm trying to push back many of these units here. A lot of the units are going down. Another Side Storm raining in. Zealots now looking to try to charge. Archon's in play, or at least one is, and that Archon needs to get focused down, but it is a lot of hit points, 350 hit points to focus down that Archon, as now the Stalkers and the Archon going to finish off the rest of the Stalkers here. Medevac looking to apparently run away, unable to do so, and there is the GG. Strelok losing game 2, 67 versus 123. Overall worker count, 25 workers killed. Just constant pressuring at the natural cause, or at the 3rd base, cause problems. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening.